Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, and thank you for clicking on the video. For the past week, I've been pretty sick. If you keep up to date with my community tab, you would have known that, so that's why I've been kind of just asking generic questions on the tab, see if what people want to see. But I talked with some other creators during the week, and I wanted to revisit Vortex. And I decided to pair a very special weapon with it. One that I don't think anybody really realizes how good it is with the new arcanes, what you can really combine thanks to the companion rework. And of course, I'm talking about the Pupacyst. This weapon comes with innate viral, and I've decided to combine it with Frost and Shock Trooper to give it basically every status in the game, along with Condition Overload. This is what I found. $38 million? Okay, I think I have enough footage.
But wait! There's more!
What the hell was that? Oh. Oh! As you can see, it's very, very strong, especially when you combine it and start building around it, specifically using augments, specific frames, and companions. So, let's talk about the build and go from there. I want to talk about the weapon really quick before we jump into the actual mods. We have the Pupacyst. It has a unique trait that whenever you apply melee status effects, you increase the attack speed and grant 100% bonus toxin damage. Now, originally I thought this was a additive mod value to where it would be toxin plus viral. No. Toxin is being applied to viral, increasing the damage. So it's not something that I realized when I first started testing. I had to actually test and figure that out. But we do have some very interesting mod combinations that we'll discuss later here in the video, as far as how we're kind of getting those damage numbers that you saw. Now, for the build, it is 6 Forma. It is quite expensive. That is only because I actually do have the Exilus adapter installed as well as the Arcane adapter. Even though the Arcane adapter doesn't add any Forma to the overall build, you still have to unlock it either with the adapter that you can buy from Void, or if you're lucky or unlucky, I guess in certain cases, get it from Netracells. So it's still quite expensive. 6 Forma is a lot for a weapon that's a polearm that nobody seems to like or care about, which is understandable, but I think with this build, you might change your mind. But going back to the build, we are actually using Twirling Spire. The reason why is because its auto attack, forward auto, actually just has 4 slash procs, which is really, really nice. So we're utilizing impact, slash, heat, viral, corrosive, and then you've got your companion, which is applying more magnetic, electric, like all these different types of statuses, which is going heavily into condition overload. We're talking anywhere between 600 to 700% increased melee damage. It's very, very substantial. Like you saw in the clips, some of the heavy attacks were over 20 million, 30 million. So as far as the Riven, it's just attack speed and range. If you don't have it, I would either put attack speed or range mod. I actually plan on keep rolling this because I'm not a fan of the negative, but this is a 5 Riven depth. When this video comes out, the Riven price may go up a bit. That tends to happen with certain Warframe videos. The word kind of spreads, and then you might see an increase to Riven prices. So if you already have one, congratulations. But I would actually go get this because it's a 5 Riven depth, and it's got a unique trait, and it's really cool. Speaking of the unique trait, like I said before, the toxin is being applied to either corrosive and viral, or just one or the other. I'm not sure. And the reason we have heat is because when we have base heat, we actually have something for the cold to connect to. So for some reason in the game, if you have more than 2 statuses, so in this case we have viral and corrosive, for some reason the game wants to take one of the statuses and apply it to it and then leave the other one alone. So at the beginning I had corrosive and viral, that's it. And I would try to create cold and electric, making magnetic, which is the whole point for melee vortex. However, what was happening was the shock trooper electric was actually being applied to corrosive, and the cold was being left on its own. I was just getting cold procs. I wasn't actually getting that applied to the viral or have the electric and cold combined for magnetic. I don't know if that's a bug, if it's intended, if the game is just not registering what I'm trying to do. Trust me, I tried all sorts of different mod combinations. It just didn't work. So what I ended up doing was I added naked heat, and the naked heat is really nice because that has something for cold to be applied to, which makes blast. So we have blast, viral, and corrosive. And with our dog, we have magnetic, which is allowing us to proc melee vortex. And it's really nice because this weapon has so much range. We apply everything. You start getting some serious damage numbers. And it's really fun to actually use a different weapon that's not like dual I-core for once. So if we go back to the build, again, we have blast, viral, and corrosive thanks to shock trooper and freeze force. And while we're on the topic of that, we can actually show the Frost Prime build. This is the Frost Prime build. It is very odd. You are exclusively relying on survivability with Icy Avalanche. You might be saying to yourself, that's too risky, and you're probably right. I did do some testing in the Corrupted. I'm not gonna lie, I died a couple times. But that is only because my dog went down. The dog is really your saving grace here. The dog, or in this case, Doge, the Hound with the Atkin, if you're curious about the parts, these are his parts. He's got some really, really nice mods. Synergize Prospectus and Repo Audit. These are extremely powerful CC. Again, more status, electric right there. Really, really powerful CC mods. We've got some of the bond mods. Now this is reinforced bond isn't technically necessary. I'm purely using it for the Grimoire. That's just for increased fire rate to alt fire, which is going to give me like extra energy drops and things like that. But for the actual Hound, base heat, rad, and magnetic, that's 3 more statuses. So in total, with slash and impact, we have 8 total statuses, which 80 times 8, which is 640% melee damage. Very, very strong. But back to Frost. We have growing power, which is going to be increasing our power strength even more, which does affect these two. So with growing power, and molt augmented, that brings it to 85 plus let's see, 155. Math on the spot, we have 240 roughly. Yeah, 240, 85, 155, 240. So very, very strong. And then we have Precision Intensify. Now we're using this in place because this is actually going to increase our overguard cap very nicely. And you'll notice the armor reduction is a little overboard. If we actually take that off, we still have 155 strength, but you'll see it goes from 36, almost 37k down to 23k and only 90% armor reduction. So I highly recommend you use that. Now, if you don't want to use extra strength, like you don't really care about the extra freeze and shock, like you don't care how much additive damage that is, you could replace this with rolling guard, primed redirection, just in case, right, your overguard gets shot off by the enemy and maybe you're out of energy or something, because Frost obviously struggles with energy issues, which is why we have flow and energize. But we're using Icy Avalanche on top of that just so that we have more overguard, and then we're trying to go for as much damage as possible. Of course, you also have Snow Globe, but this is kind of an oddball build because it is actually using 4 augments. I don't know any Warframe build. I've never seen one that uses 4 augments. Maybe this is bad. I'm not afraid to admit it, but this is what I was running. And it was working all right as long as I had my companion up. So this is definitely not level cap, but if you're interested in having fun in the game again, and you want to use a weapon that, you know, you've never heard of or don't remember or, you know, threw away, give the Pupacyst a shot. It's 5 ribbon depth. It's really strong with the right setup, and like I said, without the ribbon, just throw attack speed or range and you can do exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, this is a really fun build. I actually had a lot of help making this, not gonna lie. I did some testing with some other creators, and it's really good. If you're curious about the Grimoire, this is what I'm running. I've actually showed this build before. You really don't care about any of these other mods. We're really utilizing it for the tome and the dodge speed. But ability duration is nice for the Shock Trooper and Freeze Force. And then, of course, we're using Flow and Energize, so we want to be able to make sure that we actually have some orbs dropping. Which brings me to my next point. If you don't want to use the Hound, you could actually use Death Cube and utilize Energy Converter, where if he assists in 10 kills over 10 seconds or something, he'll drop an Energy Orb, which is really, really nice. That's another option you could use instead of a Hound. You could use the Death Cube. But yeah, that's the build. Pupacyst is a very interesting polearm. It's got innate viral, which is obviously highly sought after. But I think it's really strong with melee vortex. I mean, you can adjust the build how you want. You could use influence. I'm just not recommending that because it's likely to get nerfed. And every build video on YouTube currently is talking about influence, and I wanted to show the power of vortex with a polearm with a crap load of range. Pretty fun, pretty strong, and we're trying to utilize it with a fun frame, with a fun build. So if you like this video, leave a comment, tell me what you thought. As far as my next video, if you pay attention in my community tab, I have been talking about a tier list. I know everybody does tier lists. I wanted to do something different. I've already posted my thoughts, but I want to make a video on 4th abilities. Kind of like where they are in the game, why they're important to be good, what the philosophy of it is, kind of insert those ideas in the tier list itself. Just sort of kind of discuss kind of what's going on with the 4th ability problem in Warframe, and just kind of what's going on with subsuming, because I see a lot of builds on certain frames that just completely get rid of what's supposed to be the Warframe's ultimate ability. And that to me is, I think, is wrong. I think a Warframe's ability or ultimate should be on their kit. I think that's an issue. If we take Frost for example, he's got one of the best 4th abilities in the game. CC, armor strip, and it applies cold, which increases your critical damage. It's very strong. But if we talk about a frame like Wisp, and it applies heat and nothing else, it doesn't scale with any weapon mods. I'm going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, like some ideas that I have. But as far as what my next video is, it's probably going to be that. So if you made it this far, leave a like, leave a comment, whatever. I appreciate everybody who's been watching my videos. I've gotten so much support in the last couple days. We've gained like almost 200 subs, and I think in 1 week, which is crazy. So for that, I'm very grateful, and if you made it this far, thank you. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.